Hi, this is Brian Russell with Walking and Talking Spirituality. Thanks for taking a walk with me. Today, I'm continuing to think about what it looks like to take our contemplative practices into the actual real world in ways that allow us to engage others, govern our inner life, and even change the way that we interpret our circumstances so that they align more with who we are when we're our truest self, maybe in a time of deep prayer or reflection on scripture. And I think the metaphor to use for this is, again, once you become aware of thoughts of judgment and inner critic on yourself or on others or about your circumstances, you want to notice that that inner critic is really driven by a lot of negative emotions on the inside, especially fear, guilt, shame. It's what I call the Unholy Trinity, anxiety. And just notice how that doesn't feel good. Yet we remain content with staying in there. It's like putting your hand on a hot stove. Is the pain that you feel from touching a hot stove helpful? Absolutely, for like, a split second, right? So as soon as you just become aware internally of really negative feelings coming up, it's not about suppressing them, but you want to notice that. And then as quickly as possible, you need to be able to move yourself to a place of deep self-compassion and take your hand off the stove. Because what you're going to find, and one of the lies that our inner self tells to us, is that we function better when there's pressure. We function better when maybe there's stress or anxiety. But friends, that's a lie. If we want to become vessels of God's abundant love to others, we got to learn to allow the extreme negative emotions we experience, own them, feel them, and then release them to God through, using a sacred word while you're walking, a Jesus prayer, taking a couple of deep breaths. But that's how you slowly begin to take your hand off the stove. And at that point, the causes of the negativity, you can begin to ask deeper questions, not of how do I need to react just to get this pain out of here, but once you've pulled yourself back into your truest self, how can I allow, with the help of God, to begin to think of whatever's creating that anxiety, stress, guilt, shame? How can that be a gift long term that actually helps me to grow in that person that God created me to be, a person who loves God, who loves neighbor, who loves self, because we're rooted and live and breathe moment by moment in the unconditional love and acceptance of God. Love to talk with you more about this. If you find it resonates, reach out to me, deepdivespirituality@gmail.com. Until next time, show up, pay attention. God's got way more invested in this than you do.